With that, John, thank you for setting up this meeting, and I'll turn it over to you.
Great. Thanks, Scott. Thanks, everybody, for coming to the legislative committee meeting. Great opportunity. Just if you caught the last part, we were just talking about looking at a crystal ball, looking at the future, right? And if you had the ability to look in the future and see what's going to happen, you can make better decisions. You could probably buy the right lottery tickets, right? Or pick the roulette wheel if it's going to be red or black. Uh, the reality is we can have insight into what's going to happen. The Democrats now control the governorship in Virginia, as well as the House of Delegates and the state Senate. And they've already decided they're going to move out with the first few bills as soon as the session starts. Really aggressive. They could impact your business. Are you paying attention? Do you know what's going to happen? Congressman Suhau Subramanyam, it will join us in about 20 after, and he's going to talk about what he's seeing up on the Hill. I tell you what, and I won't spend a lot of time when he gets here introducing him. He's heard of all about what he's done before, but here's a guy that actually has been in the House of Delegates, the state Senate. He's worked in the White House in technology policy, and now he's our congressman. He's a lawyer. He understands what it is to write laws and the impacts. I think he's a great representative of for us to have. He not only in the 10th district overlaps our airport, but he also has parts of most of Loudoun. He's got parts of Prince William, and he's got a little piece of Fairfax in a little Centerville area. That's where our folks live. Our all employees, 28,000 employees from the airport. That's where they live. That's where you got to worry about affordable housing. And so this is somebody that we need to know better. And I would encourage all of you, take the opportunity, introduce yourself at some point, go visit him in DC or his district office and begin to build a relationship. Really important, good guy, understands technology. That airport, and we're going to learn more about the master plan. The airport is not just a piece of property, it's technology. There's a ton of technology out there. So this is a great opportunity for us to work with somebody that understands what's happening, what's on the horizon, and how to help us out. The committees he's on three committees: oversight, science, space, and technology, and the ethics committee. Those are three great committees. He's in the minority. I'm not sure. The other day, I heard some pundits. Can't include the president as a pundit, but they're saying they could lose the House again. That'll put them back in leadership position. So again, this is a great opportunity for us to engage with the congressman and learn about the future. Before I get started, though, crystal ball, I just wanted to, if I could tee up Jeff Bentley to just talk a little bit about finance, and then Kevin LeBlanc. I want to give Kevin a heads up as the mayor of Herndon, if he could just talk a little bit about the impacts of what we're seeing with the economy and the new administration down in Richmond, because I think we can all benefit from understanding what's happening, what could happen, and better position our businesses and not-for-profits. Not-for-profits still have to worry about turning the lights on and paying people. So everybody's got an economic impact. Jeff, can you kind of share? Thank you. You look festive. If you could share a little bit about what you're seeing with finances as we wrap up the year. Thanks.
Sure. And John, I really appreciate you putting this on. We have constant change at the political level, but we also have the opportunity to influence their decisions. And shame on us if we don't take that opportunity. So thank you for putting this together. Just from a finance perspective, there's this constant battle with the Federal Reserve on what they're going to do with the rates. And, we had three rate decreases this year. A couple of weeks ago, the concern was we'd have probably another three rate decreases next year. Uh, but if you were to test the consensus today, they're now saying it's only going to be one rate decrease next year, 25 basis points. Uh, Powell his term expires in May, and Trump's already jockeying different individuals that are slated to take his spot. And so who knows what tomorrow holds. It's important from a banking perspective because The short-term rates somewhat correlate to all rates. They don't exactly, but there is some correlation there. A lot of people look at it, hey, that means mortgage rates are coming down. And that really isn't the case. The mortgage rate is really tied to a 10-year treasury. And if you look at the 10-year treasury, it dipped into the threes, the high 3% area for a little while, but it's back to 4.15. And you can add about 2.5% to the 10-year treasury, and that's going to be your competitive mortgage rate in the industry for a 30-year fix. So, although housing continues to be a really expensive around here, and rates haven't come down to the 3.5 that we enjoyed a few years back, we are starting to see a little pickup in mortgage business. We were doing 85 million a month, 5 years ago. It got down to 5 million a month, and now we're back up to about 17 million a month. So it's improving, which is encouraging. I will tell you the economy, it is a K-shaped economy, meaning the wealthy are doing really well with the stock market and all the things that asset prices have inflated. That includes stock market, housing, et cetera. So if you've got money, you've done really well. The people in the mid to lower tier who maybe don't have money in the market, they're struggling. Inflation is absolutely killing people, and we're seeing that in credit card delinquency. We're now back to record highs of the GFC. So 90-day plus delinquent on credit cards is 12.5%. That compares, normally it's around 9. And again, that's record territory. We're starting to see banks finally own the commercial real estate debacle, meaning they've got loans out there that are underwater, and they've extended and pretended all year this year, and now they're being forced to take the hits, and we see that just locally with Eagle Bank. So there's a lot of concern in our industry because there's a lot of portfolios out there that are underwater, and if they had to market, they'd be insolvent. So again, be careful who you bank with. Make sure you look at their balance sheet and understand if they have any problems, and look at their net worth, their capital, to see what kind of buffer they have in if things were to get bad, because I still think we got a bit of a storm coming our way.
Thanks, Jeff. And you've been right on all along. Part of this, you kind of like, who can you trust? And you've been giving us uncomfortable news sometimes, but always direct. And I know you won't do this, but I can. Hey, if you're banking with somebody and you got to dial a 1-800 number, you have no idea who's on the other end, think about using local folks, right? I mean, Jeff Bentley and Northwest Federal Credit Union, great member, and appreciate you helping us out in leadership roles. But the fact is, when it hit the fan back with COVID and the PPP loans, you stepped up big time. The government closure, the longest one last time, the longest one this time, you were there helping people out with loans. You need to have somebody that you can know and bank with. So there's, obviously Northwest is one of them. There's several others here, but think about your membership and build a personal relationship with your banking and credit union members. So thanks, Jeff, for all you do for us. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Thanks for the shout out. And just to put a dot on that I, we did a little over $7 million of government furlough loans this time, which is about triple what we've ever done. So people were really, really concerned this year.
And it could happen in a couple of weeks, right? That's obviously one of the big questions we want to hear. I think this healthcare issue, obviously that's another big bite for folks with the premiums going up and what's going to be the impact. So that's going to be tough too. So
and these
thanks,
are
Jeff.
0% loans, so it's not like we're making any money on them. It's
Yeah.
strictly just to help people.
Yeah, that's awesome. You don't find that with some of the other banks. I'm like, why are people using it? I won't say the names, but why would you go do that? So yeah, thank you for being there for us. Mayor LeBlanc, Kevin, thanks. If you can come off, thank you so much. I'm surprised if you've even this is the first time you've woken up since Winter Market. Had the chance to go by another successful event. Remember when we started, Kevin talked about building traditions. It's not about trying to make a few bucks or what it is. It's building traditions. And you have created it. And I remember I pulled out that quote from Aristotle. You can be excellent one time, but to create excellence is really difficult. And I think Kevin and what he's done as the mayor, what he's done leading Winter Market really is excellence. It's repeatable, and you've proven it over and over again. Congrats on another successful Winter Market, Kevin.
Thanks, Sean. I appreciate it. And thank you to Northwest and all of our sponsors. Many of them overlap with Committee for Dulles, and also to all of our attendees. John, speaking of traditions, just a plug, I'm going to repeat it again. We are moving forward with a new event, May 16th, which will take kind of a similar format, at least location-wise. So that's a special event that will replace Hernan Festival. And then we're working on a fall event that will be similar. That will be an international festival. So trying to support all of our community and build continual traditions. I will apologize. I'm not on video because I'm double duty walking the dog as well. So in terms of financial trends, John, if it would be useful and helpful to the committee, I actually just got a report of both migration in and out of the area, regional financial trends, regional population trends, other kinds of regional data. So I would be happy to send that if that would be of use for people.
Yeah, that would be great. I appreciate it. And the other thing is your finger is on the pulse when you talk about upcoming legislation. I was so happy. I remember when you first took over as mayor and you're already working with Delegate Shin on legislation months ahead of time, which is exactly where people need to be. And I've been trying to push that on the issues with cargo for the airport. What are the things you're thinking about? What do you think's going to happen down in Richmond? How are you positioning Herndon and trying to leverage the new administration?
Yeah, so there's a number of things, and with every, I'll just remind people that fairy tales did teach us something. Every dragon can be slain. So, we just have to keep working and finding those opportunities. Some of the things that we're looking at, this administration did put money into CMS while they took it away from Medicare and Medicaid. They're putting money in for rural health. So looking at opportunities, even though we're not a rural area, to, take advantage of that, maybe look at, opportunities to get additional healthcare for healthcare deserts that exist in our region. So, there are those opportunities from an overall economic trend regionally. We are seeing that we've not really seen the meals taxes at this point. We're not anecdotally seeing a dip in consumer behavior from a meals perspective. However, I will say from Winter Market and other things, anecdotally, we are seeing while people may still spend, they're spending at lower price points. They're saving from those bigger purchases. We're also seeing that the housing market is softening. Things are staying on the market longer if they're being sold to individuals. We are also seeing a lot more of corporations or those, I'm not going to say developers, but the ones who are buying up, who have rental properties, buying up more of those properties, at least where we are. We also see hotels in the area softening quite a bit. So really focusing with state legislature on bringing back tourism. In particular, this area was serviced. We were a hot area for Canadians to come to, and they're not traveling to the US. So, those are all some of the things. Obviously, we've worked legislative agendas and continue. For us, a big one is capitalizing both on Dulles Airport and the Silver Line of the Metro, which is right here in town, and making sure that we have best use of that. So we're looking at programs that we can enact that might give greater service of our residents to the Metro, kind of first mile, last mile served. So we're still working through those issues. We're looking at As a town, is this the time? We have very good credit ratings and very low debt to bond and really focus on some of the infrastructure to prepare for the future. So really focused on downtown, shifting all of our parking policies, shifting a lot of different things to prepare us for the decades to come. So we're
Awesome.
taking this up as an opportunity.
Mayor LeBlanc, that was perfect and a great lead in to the congressman that just joined us. Thank you so much, Mayor LeBlanc, and welcome, Congressman Subramanyam. Real excited to have you. I actually already bragged about you. You talk about if you want someone to be your legislator, you've been in the House of Delegates, the Senate, you've worked in the White House. You represent not only a portion of the airport with Loudoun, you have parts of Fairfax with Centerville, Prince William. That's where our people live, work, and play. That's all of our employees, 28,000 employees, our $24 billion impact to the region. You know it. You just heard Mayor LeBlanc talk about tourism. There's so many different issues. But more importantly, we're interested in what you're thinking and seeing. Midterms are coming up. You might be in the majority, a chance to even have more leverage. But I don't think Committee for Dallas has done a good enough job reaching out to you and engaging you. Hopefully, this is a good start to refresh that relationship and want you to know that you've got a bunch of folks here that run businesses and not-for-profits tied with the airport, but more importantly, tied with the vision and the kinds of work that you've been doing. So welcome to the Committee for Dallas.
Thank you so much for having me. And yes, I've represented the airport in 3 different offices now, and I'm very excited to partner with all of you as a group and individually to make sure that we have a thriving economy and that we have a thriving airport. And so, thank you so much for allowing me to be be a part of the conversation. I'll say that Mayor LeBlanc knows his stuff, and he was spot on about sort of the trends and what's going on in the economy. I'd say from a federal level, I'm a part of a Congress that has not made things easy for our region. The federal firings, it's not just federal workers, although that's a big part of it. It's also the contractors who have seen their contracts dry up or be canceled overnight, and their employees, as well as the continued problem of passing budgets in Congress. We go CR to CR, crisis to crisis, shutdown to shutdown, and it's a very difficult time for contractors to have to contract, and that is a problem that preceded this Congress as well. And so, I'll say this: I still think there's a bright future ahead for a region. Certainly, this is a tough time right now. A couple things I'm working on most, not directly related to the airport, but I think is still important, is making sure now that DOGE has come and gone, that we are slowly trying to at least figure out the next steps for federal agencies and federal workers. And part of that is making sure we keep our federal agencies in the region. There are federal agencies all across the country and field offices and the like, but in the end, this is the best place to have the headquarters of a federal agency. Having all the headquarters near each other and cross collaboration between agencies makes sense. It's also critical to our economy, so there's some home cooking there as well. But certainly the effort in the administration to move agencies out of the region to sort of reward red states and punish Virginia and Maryland and DC is something that I'm continuing to fight against. And as a DMV delegation, we're united on that, and it's been so far successful. The second thing that we're really concerned about is tariffs and how that's affecting our economy as well. And I think that's going to affect sort of trade and commerce at Dulles Airport. It's going to affect our businesses. I talked to a lot of businesses who've talked about how they're trying not to pass along the increased costs to customers, but it's just not feasible anymore. And then others who have already passed on those costs, and folks who are seeing higher costs every day as well, families seeing those higher costs. And housing is a big issue. It has been a big issue for a while now. A lot of our teachers and nurses and others in our community live in West Virginia because they don't have $1 million to buy a townhouse in Loudoun County, and very few people do. And so, Mayor LeBlanc mentioned, the housing market sort of cooling right now. It makes sense given all that's happened to our economy, but it's still very expensive to buy a home. I've just introduced legislation with a few Republican colleagues to create a new type of savings account so that people can save for a down payment pre-tax. And we're trying to do other things in Congress to make it easier. I think housing is going to be something that every level of government needs to work together, whether it's at zoning at the local level or money at the federal level. But I'm hoping that we can kind of tackle that as well. Finally, I'm very glad to see that the airport's planning to expand its cargo capacity, and I think that's going to be really important and critical to our region. I'm going to continue to push for Dulles Airport on a number of fronts. I'll say that I'm sure saw that the president is paying a lot of attention now to Dulles Airport, and we're trying to navigate that and hopefully turn that into a good thing for the airport and maybe more investment. That was sort of the response I gave to the administration when the president opined on Dulles and wanting to get involved there. And so I think hopefully with our Senate colleagues who are interested in the airport as well as the president's interest, we can turn this into a good thing and a bipartisan thing. And if not, then certainly I will be here to fight for the airport because it's so important to our region. But in any case, I appreciate everything you all do. And thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to take a question or two as well, since we have a few minutes.
Great. Hey, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Just as a plug, we've got a luncheon in February where we're going to talk about the master plan. And the master plan doesn't include a name change, but there are a lot of other things involved that I think are really important as we prioritize.
Yeah.
Congressman, I'm looking for other people to queue up a question, but you talked about housing. The reason when people move further away out to West Virginia, it impacts transportation because our road network is so clogged because people have to commute all the time. And so it ends up with these secondary and tertiary effects on what happens to the region with the housing. It's not just one and done. You can fix it. You got to figure out the transportation problems it causes too.
Yeah, my colleagues in West Virginia have actually asked me about widening roads in rural parts of Loudoun County because they drive to DC through Loudoun County and Clark County as well. And I've told them there's going to be some opposition to that from folks in those communities who move there to not have a lot of traffic and wide roads. But yeah, it's becoming a big problem, certainly all over the region.
Awesome. Anybody else like to ask a question? Not seeing any hands.
Sounds good. Well, I'm around and available anytime. I'll drop my email address to the group if anyone would like to stay in touch. But I appreciate everyone taking the time this morning.
And I do want to thank Carissa for helping us set that up. She did a great job, really professional, and everything I've dealt with your staff has been first class. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm very terrible at scheduling, so I'm so glad to have her as well. So thank you again. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Hey, Blenda, if you hopefully can talk for a minute. I just wanted to brag about United. I saw a commercial this weekend where it had the captain of one of the airlines or one of the aircraft talked about stopping a young boy, and I just remember my first flight, and that's such an impact. It was a great commercial because it connected. I ended up being excited about flight. Now it was in the 60s, I'm embarrassed to say. Second thing I remember is walking one time, seeing the Blue Angels fly down. When I was in New York, it was the OPSAIL, 1776. It was the 200th anniversary, 1976, and saw the Blue Angels and like, wow, what was that? And they were doing a show in the New York Harbor. The impact for flight and what we have at Dulles, and Scott York has said this over and over again, we need to expose our youth to the opportunity to fly. They're talking about the aviation program at Westfields High School, the new high school they're talking about in Herndon. here's a chance for us to step up. And I think United, with their flight attendant school in Chantilly, the things that they're doing on commercials is a first step. But maybe we can get behind Scott and think about how we might be able to get folks excited about flying, and not just the business of the airport, but just the pure enjoyment, and then all the great things that it does. Glenda, I don't know if you wanted to comment and just pat yourself on the back with United.
Well, so first of all, thank you for that shout out. And so two things. I think that's a great idea. We would absolutely love to, partner and figure out a way to showcase and or have, student groups or, some sort of tour of the airport. We do that in some ways through like Girls in Aviation Day, which is really kind of system wide. But from a more regional perspective, I do think that we could partner with our community market impact team and definitely, pull something together. We also are looking for opportunities to partner up with or at least identify kind of local workforce development entities for pathways, exactly what you're describing. So we do that well in other areas. I'm new for those of you who I've not yet met. I guess I can't really say recently anymore. It's not quite a year, but maybe since April or May, got Virginia expanded as part of my expanded territory for the Northeast. So still finding my way. You all have been terrific. The other thing we've talked about, I know Scott and with you as well, John, is a tour, a more kind of formal tour for the airport that could include the flight training center, like you just described. So I think there's definitely a lot of opportunity there, and we can start to look at maybe the first quarter, end of the first quarter, maybe beginning of the second quarter, something like that, to put something together. The other thing I wanted to say is that I guess we have that in common. I also was an unaccompanied minor, which honestly I think was really my joy and love of travel and flight. And I must have been 8 years old, headed to Texas. So here we are. It's sort of yeah.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. Well, thanks, Blender. We look forward, and the folks haven't had the chance to meet you, I know they'll be impressed, excited about our ability to connect you with some of the elected officials down here. And I know that's only going to help us as well as United continues to grow and thrive. Hey, last thing I want to talk about, the German Air Force. Colonel's sitting here, he's kind of quiet, but I tell you what, we've got the German Air Force 20 miles from our capital. That's a jewel. You want to talk about friendships. That's another example. And then they open their doors to let us get close to the airport, which is, again, you can smell jet fuel. Being an Air Force guy, you're in good shape. You can always tell the quality of your office the closer you are to the flight line. So Scott, I think, beats you, though, Colonel, because he's across the street. But just thank you again. You haven't had a chance to spend a lot of time with some of our folks, but thanks for being a gracious host, to opening your doors. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on the end of it as we wrap up a new year, or wrap up a year and start looking at the following new year.
Yeah, thank you, John. We do have a long-standing relationship with the airport. Our operation, our material handling facility, we operate since 1976. So that's 50 years in the next year. And material handling sounds very technically. In fact, at the airport, we are operating we are operating the logistics hub for the German armed forces in the United States. So everything which goes forth and back between Germany and the US is, in every case, paper-wise, it's going through that facility. And the material which goes by air is going through Dallas. So we are very interested in what's going to happen at the airport. We want to maintain our presence there. And we want to continue a story of success, I would say, of the last 50 years into the future.
Awesome. Thank you.
I like the smell of that.
I do too.
Yeah.
Same.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you, Colonel. I appreciate